Record.
So this is, I think, supposed to be session 3. Third session, which is session 2, because we are starting from session 0. Right? A very brief review. We have started with printing hello world, and then some basic operations in Python, and then we learned about lists in Python, right? And then dictionaries. So we are going to till now we have not imported anything, you know? So no need to run all those. I will just run this one, in which I have initialized this name. Okay. So now we are going to make a dictionary out using lists, right? So we have a list which is called name, and then I want to make another list which is marks, or marks in this particular order. Suppose 95, 97, 96, 96, 95, like this. Okay. So this marks is again a list, right? If you want to check the type of any variable, you can use type function. Right? So this marks is a list, and I want to combine these two lists to make a dictionary, right? So how can we do that? From the two lists. So one of the ways is very simple. There is no shortcut for this. You have to write a simple loop, I equal to 0, and for name in names, is it names or name? Okay. So I will make it names. That is better, more readable. So I will make it names, right? So we can write for name in names. This is how we are going to iterate over all the elements in this list, all the items of this list called names, right? So what are we going to do? We are going to make a dictionary, right? Dictionary marks, I have made another. And I need to initialize this better write that, right? I have initialized this dictionary as an empty dictionary, dict marks, and then we are going to give, this is fill in the blanks, okay, and then this is fill in the blanks. what I want, what kind of dictionary I want is like this. I want a dictionary in which like this name will be there.
Yes, zero. Majid.
This name will be there, and this will be the key, and the value will be this
95.
95, right? And then again comma, and this will be the key, and this will be the value, and like that. Okay, this kind of dictionary we want. So what should we put here and what should we put here? And obviously after this I will do I equal to I plus 1,
1.
right? So just try to fill in the blanks. So this has to be key, right?
Yes.
This has to be key. Dictionary is key value pairs. This has to be key. So what can we put here? Name. Am I right? For name in names.
Names.
And then what we should put here? Marks of I. Right? So now let us have a look at dict names. Okay. This marks. Right? This was a little bit about dictionary. We will see more about different things when we get into it, when we need it, right? So now we are getting into tuples. Okay. So tuples are immutable, right? You can make changes in lists, you can make changes in dictionary, but you cannot make changes in tuples. Okay. So a tuple will be like mm, of let me just put it like this. Okay, or names, and you have marks, people. So see the difference between a list and a tuple. List has opening a square bracket and closing a square bracket, and tuples have opening parenthesis and closing parenthesis. Okay. So if you again want to, or you can put it marks here, that will be better, right? Let us get into the math library that we will be using. So for that, we have to import math. Once you import math, I will be discussing few important functions that we will be using in the course. Although there are a lot of functions, but I will be discussing, giving only the overview in the beginning. When we will need a certain function, we will go deep into it, right? Math dot ceiling function is there. If you do it this, I think you can expect, tell me what the output is. Output will be 5, right? because it is a ceiling of 4.01. It means the next integer number. Okay, and similarly we have floor. Sorry. The floor has to be the greatest integer function, right? And then if you want to raise it to a certain power, you will have to use this function called POW, and whatever power you want it to raise it to, you will write it here. Okay, and one thing I would like to tell you, you can also import math as M. You might have seen this kind of notations in Python codes that you might have gone through on a Stack Overflow or anywhere else. So this is a short name that is given to something that is imported, right? So now if you want to use this short notation, then you will have to write M here, that is it. Okay, right? Okay, so now we are going to have a small overview of numpy. Today we will have a small overview of numpy, but numpy I want to discuss in detail, which we will be doing in the next session. I mean this Thursday session will be dedicated on numpy. But today I want to give you an interesting example. That is why I will give you a short overview of numpy, and then a short overview of matplotlib, and then we will do that example, right? Uh, and next like the next session we will go deep into numpy, because numpy is the images that you capture through Python, through OpenCV. They are numpy ND arrays, numpy and dimensional arrays. So it is important for us to dig a bit deeper into numpy. Right. So I will be going into numpy. I will be giving only a brief overview of it, just to the extent that we are able to complete today's example. Okay. So now we are into brief intro to numpy, and import numpy as NP. People use NP because most of them use an NP, because if you are using the standard notations that everyone else uses, you will have to make less changes to the code that you copy, right? So np dot a range is a function. If you give it like this, and then just have a look at what x is, it is an array 0 to 9. Okay. And then what is the type of x? Is numpy ND array. Numpy ND array means is numpy and dimensional array. Okay. So now there are certain properties that we can extract from that X has, this numpy ND array has. one of which is shape. So for accessing that, we see x dot shape. It is one dimensional, so the second part is blank. Okay. Now you can reshape it, right? Like y is equal to x dot reshape, and then 1 comma 10. This is a new shape. Just keep in mind that the 1 multiplied by 10 should be equal to the number of elements which are in x if you are reshaping it. Let us have a look at what reshaping does to it. So now we will see what is y. You see here two opening square brackets and two
Two
closing
dimensions.
square brackets, and let us see what is the shape of y. The shape has been changed to 1 by 10. So what does this mean? This means that in y, please try to understand this thing very deeply, because many people get confused in this one. How many elements are there in y?
10.
One element. In y, there is only one element, which is this. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. And this particular element has 10 elements.
Okay.
Okay, it is like this. Now I will make another text dot. Now I am going to make it 10 comma 1. Right. Now are you clear what reshape does? It changes the shape of the numpy ND array, right? If you it is 1 by 10. Now if you do 10 by 1, what happens? Let us have a look. How many elements are there in Z?
10.
Elements are there. Perfect. This is one
10.
element, second element, third element, and like this we have got 10 elements. And each of these elements are atoms which cannot be subdivided. You can say that like that, right? And what is the Z dot shape? 10 by 1. Okay. Now W is equal to x dot reshape 2 comma 5 2 comma 5. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible because 2 multiplied by 5 is 10. Right?
Yes. 10, 5, and 5. Yes.
Okay. So let us have a look at W. How many elements are there in W? 2 elements are there.
Oh, elements.
2 elements are there in W. There are only 2 elements, and the first element has 5 elements, and the second element has 5 elements. Okay. And let us have a look at W dot shape. Okay.
Yes, sir.
If I want it, if I want it again if I want to get serialize it, if I want to get rid of this shape and want the original shape, then what can we do? W1 is equal to W dot reshape, and we can do -1. Oh, sorry, it is dot. And now let us have a look what W1 is. Okay. It is again only one dimensional, right? Which is equal to X, right? If X T, I am making and X dot T, which will be the transpose of X, right? If you want to take the transpose, then it is, you have to use dot T, capital T for transpose, right? So you see that transpose is the same because it is one dimensional, right? Once we convert it to two dimensional, which is actually Y, this is one dimensional, so its transpose is the same. It is two dimensional, so let us have a look at what is the transpose of Y. Yt is equal to Y dot capital T and Y, let us have a look at what Y is. Okay. Y is this and Yt is equal to Y dot and the transpose of Y. Oh, I will run Yt. So this is the transpose of Y. It
Sir,
means
once again, certificate, sir.
okay.
X is equal to XT.
Wait. I am telling again. You know what a transpose is. Right? I will give you one more example, and it will be clear. I will give you example with W. Right. So you have W like this. Okay, and Wt is equal to W dot T. What is transpose? Diagonal and then a mirror image over the diagonal, right? That is transpose. The rows will become column, the columns will become rows. Aisa kuch.
Yes.
Yes. So this dot T does the transpose, and then let us have a look at what Wt is. Is it clear? इस मैट्रिक्स का ट्रांसपोज ये मैट्रिक्स है, right? Now let us get back. Is it clear?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, now let us get back to this Y and then we will go back to X. So what should be transpose of this? This.
Yes.
Right? And X transpose remains the same because it is one dimensional.
Yes.
Okay. If I want to do some matrix operations, right? Okay, let us see that example. Matplotlib. I will be importing matplotlib.pyplot.
Plot, yes.
Right. And then X equal to np dot a range starting from 0 math dot pi multiplied by 2. What is this? And spacing is 0.05. Pi, the number pi 3.14 वाला the number है, that number is pi, math dot pi multiplied by 2, right? 0 to 2 pi, ये वो है ना angles, 0 to 2 pi angles, right? And the spacing steps is 0.05. And then let us have a look at what x is.
Yes.
0 to 6.25. Okay, makes sense. And then I want to use np dot sign of x, right? So let us have a look at what y is.
Indeed.
Sign values of the whole array, right? So 0 से 1 तक, 1 is the, I think 1 will be the maximum, 0.999 ऐसे आ रहा है somewhere, ठीक है?
Yes, sir. Sign
Okay. So I want to end today's session at this note. Plt dot plot x comma y. At x is what? The, you can say the input values for the sine function, and y is the output. I am just going to plot this simple thing, right?
Line plot. Okay.
Right. And if you want to give a value, this legends to it, you can do that also, right? So with this today's session, this is it for today's session. I will put task 2 today, which will be based on these things only, plotting different graphs on matplotlib. And then we will continue with going deeper into numpy in the next session. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.